St Paul's Church, Coronation Road, Bristol, Sunday the 4th of November 2002, 11 a.m. The morning service is finishing. Within 2 hours, the tranquility will be broken. The church is being converted into a theatre for St Paul's Players' latest production, a new science fiction play by one of their members, Paul Williams, called The Other Side of the Sky. Over the next 6 days, the church will operate as a theatre. This is a culmination of many months of effort. Work on the play started over 3 months earlier with the read-through in the church's upper room used by the group for rehearsals. The group is assembled to read selected scenes from the play in a session led by the play's author and director, Paul Williams.
If anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Paul. I wrote this thing, which we're going to have a little read through. It's basically called The Other Side of the Sky. It's basically sort of a cross between Doctor Who and soap opera.
The play is a science fiction story, an unusual genre for amateur theatre. It's set both on Earth and on a distant planet called Astrolon. The story tells of accidental computer communication between individuals on both planets and how ultimately they are able to assist each other in solving their problems.
Oh, I know, all right. Go on then, exactly what did you tell
I've never done it before. It's never been performed before, so it's a carte blanche really. We can sort of do what we like with it. So, well, just thanks everybody for turning up. Really appreciate it. I wasn't expecting this many. Dawn rang me up yesterday and made it sound as though we had about 2 people coming. Oh, so-and-so's been poached by another group, and it was all, oh dear, it was awful. So I'm really pleased. Thank you very much, everybody, for turning up. And if anybody wants to turn up again. I think what I've achieved this evening, it's been a massive relief for me because this play's never been read before, and so I had absolutely no idea as to the quality of what I'd written or how well it would read or anything. I had absolutely no idea, and also how the players, our group, would react to it, whether they would enjoy it, whether they would be bored, or I just didn't know.
I love the play. I like science fiction. Some people are really frightened of it, but this is more than sort of aliens zapping each other. This is a play about relationships.
This is the first play that I've known to be a science fiction type thing, and I find it quite humorous actually. I think it's quite a humorous play. And
what I notice is there's some very good dialogue, very good one-lines. The repartee between characters is good, and I think it's a very inventive play.
It was very interesting when we first talked about it and when Paul first wrote it, that there were quite a number of people who said, oh, I don't think I like science fiction, or I don't think I want to do science fiction. But now actually people are really on board with it. I think because it's so different, it's very seldom that we get the opportunity to do something like this. So it's quite challenging, quite different, yeah.
Following the read-through, Paul has to face the make-or-break issue of casting. Miscasting can destroy a good play.
Well, it's a big cast. There are, I think, 18 parts in total. Although some of those parts could double up. If we don't have enough people, I think there are probably 5 or 6 parts at least that could double up.
The play, though written for St Paul's Players, was intended for a large cast, but filling all the parts with suitable actors proves difficult. In the end, Paul has to take on the additional duty of playing one of the characters himself. With casting complete, the group starts rehearsals on the 9th of September. As the cast start to develop their parts, they are very conscious that there is less than 2 months to the first night.
I'm playing 2 parts in the production. The first part I come on as is a character called Barney Creech, who's a slimy sort of not very nice businessman who's trying to take over the business of the garden centre owned by Howard and Ruth, 2 of the other characters in the play. The second character is Valcor. Now, he's the leader of the Progress movement on one of the planets. He's quite a cold, arrogant character, and his idea, again, is to take over in his role. So both the parts I'm playing are quite sort of sneaky, really.
For Paul, the project started over 6 months earlier when he started work on the script.
The idea of doing a science fiction play was to be able to do something a bit different within the limitations of what we could do within the church environment. doing a science fiction thing meant that I could do something a little bit more interesting, I thought, something quite modern. There aren't a lot of modern plays that don't have bad language, sex, violence, whatever, and that's just for starters, so that makes the choice of play quite difficult. So I thought that having something like that, science fiction, I mean it was only very loosely science fiction, I think, in the end, meant that I could do something modern and something a bit different, and it would also be a good opportunity to do things with lighting, sound, costumes, you know, really give something that everybody could get into.
Shortly after the casting was settled, Paul has a staging meeting with the technical team for the production, the stage manager and the lighting and sound engineers. Paul is able to present his ideas and the team is able to advise him of the practicalities.
Yeah.
The full height, which is what, 8 foot,
which doesn't give you a complete blackout.
No,
because it's not really black.
No.
The props for the production are the responsibility of expert props lady Olive Ando. She starts work by reading the script and making a list of the props required. In The Other Side of the Sky, one of Olive's major tasks is the making of firearms. This presents problems. As the play is to be performed in a church, conventional guns and killing can't be shown. Olive has to come up with a design that serves as a weapon, but is sufficiently unworldly as not to cause problems. As well as the small props, the major scenery items had to be constructed. Paul's brother Andy has assisted by producing a computer mock-up of the proposed set. The work is carried out in the vaults under the church, organised by stage manager Steve Andrews. He and his team had to take the initial concepts and turn them into practical designs. As well as planning the scenery, Steve has to plan the logistics of putting on a play in a church. Midway through the rehearsal period, the actors are on their feet and gradually starting to remember their lines. The cast have been encouraged to have their lines learned by this point in the rehearsal period. The moves are plotted with direction from Paul in combination with input from the actors themselves.
I play two characters. The first is Carol, who is the daughter of Ruth Ann Howard Applegate. And the second is Kayla, who is an Australian citizen.
And I'm playing two parts. I'm playing Brian, who's my Earthbound character. I'm also playing Vandrit, who's an Australian.
I'm playing the part of Janika, and she is one of the resistance leaders who is trying to help to free the overseers, who are the leaders of the planet, because they have been captured by the evil Valkor.
The lines are just part and parcel of the play. Lots of things to learn. You have to coordinate your moves, the characterization, working with other people on the stage. Those are very difficult things. So the lines should be one of the easiest things to learn. It's what's not written down and all the extra bits you have to take on board. And also the classic, not bumping into the furniture or the scenery.
And this planet, the other planet, will be here. So you'll you'll probably have your back to the audience actually a bit, and you'll be on the floor. You'll just be kind of gazing up at this planet. Janika, meanwhile, will be over here somewhere, fiddling around with this intercom thing that she's trying to get to work. So there probably won't be anything actually on the stage as such, as far as something to sit on. But we'll leave.
At this time, as well as rehearsing, the group has to turn its attention to the business matters of the production. Publicity is vitally important, and so Paul uses his professional skills to prepare a high-quality poster. The style of the publicity is especially important, as a new play by an unknown author can't rely on familiarity to sell the tickets. Responsibility for selling the tickets lies with the box office manager, Christine Sargent. With 300 tickets printed, the final piece of graphics to be prepared is the programme that will be sold to the audience at the performance. As well as the preparation of the poster, Paul turns his attention to planning the music.
That was something which was very, very important to me. So I sort of set about thinking about that right from the start. It wasn't a last-minute thing at all. And in actual fact, I spent hours and hours and hours on the music. I actually spent a lot of time on the music. I mean, it wasn't just a case of writing the play. I did actually spend a lot of time concocting all the music, some of which was borrowed, some of which was I actually did myself on the computer at home, so it was quite a mixture.
Whilst the cast continue with rehearsals, down in the vaults, the technical crew are painting the scenery. On a par with the scenery in creating the overall impact of the production are the costumes. Signs started soon after casting was complete. In rehearsal breaks, Christine Sargent takes the cast's measurements.
Do you know your inside leg?
A key decision is made by Paul that the costume colours will reflect the characters' roles. The earthbound cast will wear clothes in earth colours, brown for soil, blue for water and green for vegetation, particularly appropriate as the earth scenes are set in a garden centre. To provide the feeling of another world, the scenes set on the planet Astrolon will use bright colours, bright red and bright yellow particularly. As well as the colours, the style of the costumes and the materials used to suit the characters. For example, on the planet Astrolon, Darrow, played by Philip Monks, wears rough cloth to reflect his position as a rebel.
Really nice. Our costumes are done by a very clever lady who makes everything, and they're really good, really comfortable. I feel nice in it, feel quite glamorous.
Because I'm from Vistralon and the main action's on Astrolon because we're taking it over basically. We're slightly different, but a lot of thought's gone into the costume for the colour. And I've got this high collar that when it's done up, I look down my nose at people, you see, because I'm not a very nice person.
And with regards to the costumes, they're bloody scratchy.
At this stage, the production suffered a serious blow when a family crisis causes leading actress Dawn Barra, cast as Ruth Applegate, to drop out. This is a director's nightmare, as a cast change at a late stage is always difficult, not only for the new actor but also for the rest of the cast, always assuming that a new actor can be found at short notice. Fortunately, in this case, the group are lucky, as experienced actress Eunice Bliss is free to step in and take over the role.
In a way, and I'd rather it was not quite so much like that. I'd rather you were a little bit more...
The first night of the play is now less than a week away, and on Thursday, the 21st of November, there is the last normal rehearsal. Though it is not a dress rehearsal, the cast rehearse in their newly finished costumes to familiarise themselves with the clothing they will wear on stage.
My name's Carl Chambers, and I play Sirio in the play, who's second in command to the baddies, I like to say. So it's quite a nice part, really. Wasn't too taxing to learn my lines. I've never played a baddie before.
I play Samaya in the play, and she's actually the daughter of the overseers of Astrolon. She's quite an aristocratic sort of figure. She's very flamboyant, and she's also a little bit of a
It's starting to really flow and really come together, and people are starting to really get into character. And we've just started wearing costumes, and that really starts to help you. You're putting all the pieces together now.
3 days later, Sunday the 24th of November, sees the conversion of the church to a theatre. Under the supervision of stage manager Steve Andrews, transformation starts by moving the pews at the tower end of the church. The stage is then erected in front of the tower entrance and chairs laid out in front. The pews are too heavy to lift and they have to be moved by sliding them across the polished floor on mats. The stage arrives at the church in prefabricated sections. However, the major installation is the lighting frame. This aluminium structure is erected using jacks. It will support all the lighting plus the backcloth and some of the scenery. It's the key element in transforming the church into a theatre.
Everyone has to get involved in all aspects of a performance. I mean, take the staging, for example. Although we hired this from a company called Flat Earth, they physically weren't going to deliver it. We had to hire a lorry, to go there, load 20 or 30 very large pieces of furniture onto a van and bring it to the church, and then unload it all again, and then start to construct it all pretty well all in one fell swoop. And that takes a lot of manpower.
The lighting rig along with the backcloth are supplied and installed by a group called Bright Sparks. This is a group specialising in providing the lighting and sound facilities for amateur and semi-professional productions. Bright Sparks provide their equipment and services at a reasonable cost, and to groups like St Paul's Players, that's a huge benefit, as it means the group can concentrate on the art without the worry of dealing with engineering. The lights are controlled from a command post at the side of the auditorium. As soon as the lights have been fitted, they have to be individually positioned and focused. The lighting changes then have to be programmed into the console. The evening's work is not yet over, as after all the lights have been set, the full cast arrives to practice on the stage. It's not a full rehearsal, but a walkthrough. This gives the actors an opportunity to practice their entrances and exits.
I think there is a slight sense of panic, actually, with it. But I think we all want to do Paul justice, and we'll be all right on the night.
The cast and crew finally locked the church at 12:30 a.m. after 12 hours of non-stop preparation. Despite the late session on the Sunday evening, on the evening of the following day, Monday the 25th, it's the first of 2 dress rehearsals. The rehearsal gives Paul an opportunity to fine-tune the production. The challenge facing him is increased by the need to take a part himself, making reviewing the action very difficult. As well as giving the cast their first chance to act on the set, the first dress rehearsal also gives the technical crew their first opportunity to test the lighting and the sound effects.
Yes, I'm relatively happy with the way that first rehearsal has gone. I did have a problem, I think, with the fact that some of the furniture that we've got to bring on off is quite heavy, and it is taking us a little bit longer than I would like to actually set the scene and strike the scene in between the blackouts. I think perhaps on balance, I've had a word with the backroom boys, and I think probably we would have done it something slightly differently, I think, if we'd had a chance.
The cast are given a rest day on the Tuesday, but back on stage on Wednesday evening for the second dress rehearsal. The general conclusion from those watching is that most of the problems identified at the first dress rehearsal have been cured and the production is much slicker. There is no rest for the cast and crew, however, as the following night is first night. As the audience arrives, the cast are behind the scenes preparing their costumes. As well as issuing pre-sold tickets, the head steward Max Pemberton makes last-minute sales at the box office. After buying their tickets, the audience can order interval refreshments from Jenny Treadwell, Joan Fries and Margaret Gough, before buying a programme from Mary Pemberton.
What's going on? I've only got euros. Oh, that's it.
Haven't you finished that crossword yet?
Not yet.
I think there's something going on.
Yes, dear. Isn't that what you normally find when you open a newspaper?
No.
Are you out of your minds?
Petra and Syria, just in time to take these two to the security cells.
Sound effects form a key part of the production. These have been prepared by Paul using a computer and recorded on a CD. During the performance, the sound operator is Tony Ford. A major challenge is the timing. A sound effect has to match the action on the stage, and a slight error in the timing can destroy the effect. This is particularly vital where the weapons are used. Being a science fiction play, guns do not puff smoke in a conventional way. The sound is essential to imply the element of menace. As well as guiding the audience through the play and setting the mood for each scene, a key use of the music is to cover the changes of scene.
You must now proceed to the cargo bay. Move! Move!
With an open-plan stage and no curtains, the scene changes have to be carried out extremely quickly by Steve Andrews and his team of Ian Fell-Palmer, Ray Hendy and Greg Kelson in Near Darkness. The play is in 3 acts and runs for 2 hours with an interval in the middle of Act 2.
Tea, coffee, orange juice, 25p and a biscuit with it. And any profits will go to our church.
Who did my orange juice?
The absence of a proscenium arch means the lighting takes on particular importance as it's used to distinguish the scene changes and to emphasise key plot points. The lights are managed by the operators who have to control them strictly in accordance with the lighting cues given in the script.
You've gone and blown it, haven't you?
Hang on a minute, Barney. Look.
There are 3 performances, Thursday the 28th, Friday the 29th and Saturday the 30th of November. An unconventional genre, a new play, a new author, mean that financially the play is a high-risk project. An audience of 96 see the play on the Thursday night, 83 on the Friday, and on Saturday 84 see the last production. Artistically, the risk of challenging a difficult genre has paid off, but financially the outcome is less certain.
Ladies and gentlemen, before you get home this evening, I'd like to ask you to put your hands together just one more time. A member of the cast this evening actually wrote and directed this play. Paul Williams.
On the last night, despite the applause, the entire cast is unusually anxious to get back up the stairs to the rehearsal room.
We have a little memento of the first ever performance of The Other Side of the Sky, and we hope you go on to many more.
That's fantastic. That's great. Again, everybody's really pulled together on this, and I have to say it's a fantastic team effort. Obviously, you know, all it takes is a bit of inspiration and we're away. So it was wonderful. So I just want to thank everybody so much. It really has been a memorable production.
Downstairs, the theatre is being turned back into a church.
Unfortunately, we've got to get back to the job of dismantling everything now. There must be, I don't know, 50 or 60 people here this evening helping out with that task. Some of them have been working very hard actually in the performance itself, and I'm sure are very tired. There are children here from 11, 12 years of age and 17, 80-year-olds. They're all mucking in, and hopefully we'll have this clear in the next hour and a half or so.
I think overall, I think people enjoyed it, and we seem to have a few laughs tonight.
Exciting, yeah. It's really great to have the adrenaline rush before you go on to stage.
Just basically exhausted and quite relieved.
It was just fantastic. It really was. Seeing the birth of a play from a first reading, and then to have that applause and everything at the end, it's just, yeah, exciting.
I felt the play went superbly well. It went very smoothly, considering what a technical effort it was. There were loads of new things which we'd never tried before. And I think, you know, adding all those things together, I think we pulled it off really well.
The St Paul's Players were founded in 1954 and now have nearly 30 regular members. This production is their 98th full-length play. In addition, they have performed 80 one-act plays.
One thing that I found so nice about this group was that nobody tries to outshine anybody else. We all work together as a team, and I've just thoroughly enjoyed it. And they're just such a lovely group.
By midnight, the church is reinstated, ready for morning service.